Call me. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the March Planning and Zoning. Can I have you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for your presence among us, Lord. Guide us and continue to watch over us. Allow us to do the business that is pleasing to the city. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Does everybody have your microphones on?
Yes, they're all on.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. For the record, show that we do have a quorum with, so we got Mrs. Shield, Goff, and Griffin. All right, you have a copy of the February minutes. Just take a moment to review, and then we'll go ahead and take action on these minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
That's a proper motion from Warner. Is there a second?
Second.
I got multiple seconds, but I think Vanneman was first. Any more discussion on these minutes? With no discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, for the first item on our agenda, we have a variance for Bellingrath Phase 2 lots with pipeline easement. A variance requires us to go into a Board of Adjustments. Is there a motion to go into Board of Adjustments?
I'll make the motion that we convene the Board of Adjustments.
We have a motion to convene. Is there a second? Second. Got a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we are now in a Board of Adjustments for this variance. Let's go ahead and bring it before us. We have our engineer. Mr. Lemons, would you discuss this with us?
Yes, I'm unsure if you have these drawings or not, so I'm going to take just a second to hand them out.
They've got on a smaller version.
If you're right in your eyeball for telling, so I'm gonna give you the big King James Bible, big print. That we looking at.
I got it.
You got it.
Much easier to see.
Yes, sir. You can actually read the lot numbers on these. Basically, what we're looking for here is we're not increasing the number of homes, driveways, anything. The people that are interested in buying these lots, they cannot have any of the gas right-of-way easement on the area that they're gonna build the home. It's in their bylaws, their company bylaws. So what we're planning on doing here would be, if you'll see, you have lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 20, 21, 22, and 23. Those lots will be smaller and contain the area outside the gas right-of-way, and then the land that's in the gas right-of-way behind it will be deeded to those lot owners. So basically, when they get a mortgage, they'll get a mortgage on lot number 2 to build, but they will own lot 2 and lot 2E. We would do a very similar situation when we have property that is next to a body of water, where they want ingress and egress to a body of water. We'll do like lot 5 and then lot 5L for a lake behind it. Unfortunately, it's in a lake, it's a gas right-of-way. So the variances we're requesting are the rear setback. We are gonna have a rear setback on these lots away from the gas line, about 5 feet. So we'll be, that far away from the easement itself. And the other variance we're asking for is the actual lot size, because I believe you have a minimum of 9,000 square feet. That sound right? So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Everybody should have had an opportunity to read the request from Lemons Engineering for this variance, and you've also been offered the response from our city attorney on that, who with no opinion, says it is within our domain to make this variance request. Questions?
Is all this, does all this fall within the requirements of, setbacks, lot sizes and all that?
I think what Tim just explained, that the two lots combined would meet the setback requirements, but what he's asking for is a zero setback. They're gonna build the house at the back of the lot. The lots, I think your buildable area is like, what, 48 feet deep? Does that sound right? About 48 feet deep from the 30-foot
About
setback?
50, about 53, about 53. We have it's a 88 feet
Okay.
lot depth, and we've got a 30 in the front, so I'd knock it down to 58 and 5 in the back,
Okay.
so it'll be 53.
All right. Any other questions?
So to make sure I understand, so you're asking for a variance on the rear setbacks because it's gonna be too close to the lot line, but the additional lot on the pipeline is gonna really be part of the lot. It's just gonna be two separate deeded easements, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we're putting in the, if you'll look at general note number 7, E-lots are reserved for easements. E-lots shall be deeded to a corresponding lot. We give an example. For example, lot 1E shall be deeded to the owner of lot 1. E-lot shall not be sold to others. So we're trying to lock that in to where they can't do anything else with it. except for
That's, you're
mold.
talking about the bill of assurance, or are you talking about what's on our plat here?
Well, we have it on the plat. We're also going to put in the bill of assurance, but since cities can't enforce bill of assurances, we thought we'd put it on the plat so you'd have something to say about it.
I
You
know
can
we've got
enforce
our
it.
builder here. Nathan, those E-lots, are they a zero-cost lot when the properties sell? When, meaning the buyer, the purchaser of Lot 4, when he's deeded Lot 4E, is that a zero cost?
Yes, it's being attached to the other lot.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Kind of put it in layman's terms, the house sits on the lot exactly the same as it would without this variance. Does that make sense? The depth off the front and the back of the house is gonna sit exactly in the same spot. It's just that the back of the house can't be in that easement of that gas pipeline.
All right, it's been a while since we've done a Board of Adjustments for the newer members. The Board of Adjustments allows us to make adjustments to anything within our zoning code ordinance that was not in the original plan, simply because we missed it or the builder missed it. It doesn't really change anything on the plan. The intent of the plan is just, it's not buildable the way it is. So that's why we have to do it as a Board of Adjustment. We're making an adjustment to the zoning code for this instance only. It doesn't carry forward to some other piece of property somewhere else.
And the only reason this is required is for FHA. So this is for, kind of like for the sellers. Because without this, you wouldn't be able to, well, you'd be able to build it, but if someone didn't use FHA, they could still buy it. This is just to, so more or less to help sell it, help the, what would you call it, the what?
The buyer of the home.
So my question is that 5 foot, is that coming off from the lot? So nobody owns that?
No, it's just the building.
The pipeline owns that, right?
No, the pipeline just has an easement. The person, if they buy lot number 2,
They still gotta mow it.
they're gonna they're gonna own 2 and 2E.
I mean, do they still have to mow it and maintain that?
Yes,
And that, to me, that's
Yes.
one of the benefits of this, the way I'm looking at it, because we've had situations in the past where easement wasn't maintained. With the homeowner owning it, they're gonna maintain it just like they would their yard. You won't have an eyesore.
So the purchaser won't have a choice, he'll have to accept.
right.
As far as they're concerned, other than building it, they can't build a privacy fence, obviously, on the pipeline, but it's,
Not on that 5 foot, they can't.
no, they can't.
You can build
They
on
can
a
sit back.
pipeline within certain constraints if it could be moved.
Okay.
It can't be a permanent structure.
Yeah, there are the lots that are backing up on the other side of the original Bellingrath. There is a privacy fence back there at the back of their easement line, which is back of the lot line.
Put a guard.
You can, you're just at risk if the gas company has to come in and work on the line, they can take the fence down, and it's the homeowner's responsibility to pay to put it back. Like any other easement, really.
I don't see any reason if our city attorney shows it's within our
Well, I make a
constraints.
motion that we accept the variance.
Say that again?
We grant the variance.
We have a motion to grant the variance. Is there a second to
I'll
that?
second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this motion? All right, I'm gonna do a roll call vote. And let's go ahead, let me get my, I'll rip up my roll call. Oh, all right. Carlson,
I'm good with it.
you're yes.
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Vandeman,
Yes.
Griffin. Oh, excuse me, Warner.
Yeah,
All right. Warden,
Yes.
I don't have to vote. That's the majority of 5. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. All right, let's take it out of Board of Adjustments and get back to our regular business. All right, the next item of business has to do with Bellingrath Phase 2, the drainage easement requirement, and that goes back to the conditions, one of the conditions that was put on the original plat back in December. Is that correct, James? The conditions were placed, I believe there was 3 or 4 conditions placed on that plat. The preliminary plat, one of them was to provide an easement for drainage off the southwest side of the property there. So, James, you want to speak on this, or should I turn it over to our engineer?
I'll let the engineer speak.
Okay, Kyle?
Yeah, we haven't heard anything. I don't think you guys have submitted anything regarding that question. What I suggested was to get an easement from Calfrac to get into that large drainage ditch, that's just into the Calfrac property. And the other option, we talked about a little bit in our meeting in December, is that you could pipe it, get an easement from the city and pipe it down to the storm drain. There's not a ditch or anything, there's no storm drain inlet on 64 just south of that, so it would require a junction box, or I guess you could put a back row on an inlet. But either way, you need to pipe it down there and tie into the storm drain. So that was kind of the 2 options that I saw.
Say again where that inlet would be at, or the junction box would have to be at?
It would be right at the edge of the city property. It comes
Okay.
straight south from the detention pond and tie into the storm drain.
Okay.
That's on 64.
I believe the original condition put on it was that it was going to cross over Calfrac property and go into the ditch. I know we've got some representatives here from Calfrac. Jamie, did you want to talk on that at all?
I can. Now, use representative loosely. I don't have any authority. We're a publicly traded company, and everything's gotta go through our legal department.
Okay.
With that being said, whenever I spoke to them yesterday, they wanted to reiterate that we want to be good neighbors and stewards of the community and continue to do that. Some of the questions that were asked is if, this was a condition of the Telegraph too, as far as it starting, we just, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, got notice thereof, other than what James had told me. The legal department at Calfrac is wanting to survey the Telegraph, a survey of how it would affect our property, or Calfrac's property. They want, reversion, if not used in a timely manner. Want to know if there's any cost associated there to Calfrac. A hold harmless or release of liability for anything that could happen as far as the flow downstream. And, last but not least, what's the value of this if they were to give an easement? Now, whenever I look at it personally and see, there's a story of this, and I don't know whenever you say the big ditch at Calfrac. Are you talking about Red Creek Slough, the one that's in the middle of the
Yeah,
yard?
across the.
Yeah, so that's 300 feet from the fence line. Now, last year, whenever we were cleaning up our yard, I thought I'd do something for my, the neighbors, who is my father-in-law, you all know that. But whenever I had, Frankie there doing some grading, I had him redefine some of that. Well, I've been in the doghouse over that since. But with that being said, they don't want any more water on them than what needs to be. And one of my concerns was the fact that we have to do a stormwater permit with ADEQ every year. But I think with the proposal, as far as going, there's ways that, from our collection points that we, but that's all up to the legal department. Until they get the information that I've stated here too, they're not gonna act. They're not gonna get an easement, in the dark, so to speak.
Okay, so you've got 6 conditions that need to be met before the legal office would actually grant a,
Well, before they would even look at granting. I can't
Even
tell you
look
we're
at
gonna
granting.
grant anything.
okay,
Right.
all right.
I picked up on 5 of those. Did you give us that list? Yeah, well, I'll get it to you. Okay, I'll get the list from Jamie.
So,
Get that information together.
Okay,
The survey of both yours and what was the effective, reversion if not put in use, indemnification, the cost of it, and, the value.
so with those conditions, requests, whatever you want to call them, until those are turned over, and until a decision is made on whether they're acceptable or not, that's, having that water cross over Calfrac property isn't even an option.
It's already happened, and it started off happening without a silt fence, so our small ditch that's on the east property line is full of silt, all the way down to 64. This started in January the 23rd, and that's, I believe I called James that afternoon, and he came out and I showed him. But there's, and Nathan and, Tim have both went out there last week, so, I mean, it's flowing across. We put a load of gravel on it, and it's already washed out where we enter and regress into the Calfrac yard, which is off my father-in-law's property. So,
And
I'm
that's,
getting it from both directions.
and that's all started since the
Yes.
digging has started up
We
there.
weren't having any issues before. This is true. When the ground was broke, we have problems.
Kyle, what was the other options that you quoted they could do with that water?
To pipe it straight south into the storm sewer, that's on 64. And that then goes west and ties into the same ditch.
Same ditch that we're talking about now too?
Right.
have you gauged the capacity of that collection point?
No, I don't have any info on the existing storm sewer. I don't know, you don't have any. We'd have to check it for sure. But I would think that what's on 64 would be adequate to handle, but out of a detention pond, we'll need to check.
I know it's just got the one little collection slot there that was picking up from that ditch there. It's only 3 feet wide and 6 inches tall and all that, but I have no idea what the diameter of the pipe is underneath the roadbed there.
Yeah, that's what we need to check. It's a 5-foot inlet, so it should be fairly large, but like I say, we're coming off the detention, so it's somewhat limited as to what we can carry, but they'll have to check that, see if that's an option. If they get Calfrac easement.
I guess I gotta ask the board this, if it's not an option, what's gonna happen? I mean, one of the conditions was, on this land was that there be a drainage easement.
Well-
And there's,
Well, first of all, we don't know if there's gonna be one because the legal department has to look at those options. And I don't know if this is a place to stay this, but, it looks like before there's even a decision made, there's another problem here that, it sounds to me like Calfrac is having to deal with, some ADPE, issues, because the work has started. Am I hearing that right?
Yes and no. There are some issues that we're having that the water's causing. I'm not having to deal with any ADEQ issues at the point, and if they were to come to me, I will revert them back to the developer, because that's where it's at. The work comes from.
Let's say this, there's another property owner that's gonna be involved here with this easement. And he's representing that.
go ahead. State your name, please.
James Keefer, I'm Kelvin's son. This never happened until they started. And my question is, because I believe I know what the whole issue, the whole deal is, I might be wrong, but you're running a catchment pond in that corner, right? You're turning your drag to run your stuff to that corner, right? You're not gonna run any water out the north end of that guy's deal. Well, just so you understand these numbers, 976,000 extra gallons of water are gonna go down that ditch in a 6-inch rain. I did water for the gas companies for a long time, after 50. And that's how much extra water is gonna go down through there. My dad's not gonna go for it cutting that, so y'all can run to a detention pond. Tim did this thing for me, what, 5 years ago? And I let it sit, and y'all didn't have that detention pond deal. It didn't require one, it didn't meet enough volume to even have storm drains. Now, it requires evidently a detention pond, which means you're gonna turn the water off whatever that road is to the north, and you're gonna turn it and run it right back down there, and that crap will not fly with my dad. The water that was there didn't cause a problem, but the water that is gonna be there,
Against what ditch are you referring to? It's not flowing into any ditch. other
it's
than
flowing into the cut
ditch.
ditch, that's where it's cut right now, it's cut fresh
Yeah,
dirt,
we're not gonna be flowing into
So
that.
you're not gonna go to that ditch?
No, sir. So
You're
that's
gonna
the
run
whole
down
thing.
this-
They've got either got it to the big ditch, or they've got to get it to the storm
Okay.
drain. That's the
Then
two
you'll
options.
add in some out of it.
Yeah.
If that's,
Yeah,
because,
that ditch will not handle it.
no, I mean, it just, it won't. Well, we're good then, I'll, then he's out. You don't have to worry.
Kyle, do you have any calculations on what diameter pipe would have to come due south from that to get it to that?
Yeah, it was in that initial range before, I don't have it with me, but I think, was it 24? I think it's 24. Guys, ready, you got it coming out.
I will have to look at it, I haven't looked at it in a couple of months.
Yeah, and we didn't have any design, as far as the grade over to the ditch, so if he can increase that slope to the big ditch, then maybe he could go down to a 20 or an 18, but I think it was a 24 coming out of the detention pond.
Okay.
Sounds like this is a dead subject unless Calfrac comes along.
Or they
I mean,
get an
we
easement
can't
from
do
the city. Yeah, there's no action that we
There's
can
no
take.
action that can be, Calfrac's holds the cards on this. Until
All right. We've got there's been a lot of work that's already progressed on that land, and that's where the water's coming from. And there was a condition put on it that a easement be administered and applied to that before as part of the preliminary plat. We're finding out now that we're 2.5 months into it, and there's still not an easement, so.
Well, yeah, that was for just the plat approval, not to get started. That was for us to approve the plat.
For us to approve the preliminary plat, there was an easement, there was other conditions that were put on it too, but that was, I remember that one, so.
But right now, there is no solution.
He's out of conformance.
Well, then it
James,
doesn't,
what's your options when they're out of conformance?
The enforcement part of the development code kicks in.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The enforcement part of the development code kicks in.
And that is?
That's, Article 8, I believe it is, in the development code.
Where's that? I mean, what, without me opening it up, I mean, paraphrase it real quick. What options do you have? We've got it in our books, don't we? We've got it in our books, don't we? All right. In the subdivision development,
Yeah, subdivision development code, Article 8 in the back. No, this is, hold on, I've got a copy of this in my desk.
okay.
Okay, non-conforming use of structure.
You're in the wrong section there. You gotta go into the subdivision regulation.
yeah.
There should be a whole,
Yeah, that's what this is, subdivision.
It only goes Articles 4. That's all I have, is goes to Article 4.
Yeah, this, because the new one isn't out, we don't have the new one.
We have, I've got the new one in this folder here.
does it have an Article 8?
Yeah, we never got a copy of that new one, did we?
We should have done, 7 should have been 6, and 6 should have been 7.
Correct. Kinda too far into it.
Yeah.
Is, yeah, let me- Is this, this what he's talking about right here?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so under subdivision regulations, section 5, penalty, it states any person, firm, or corporation which violates any portion of these regulations or amendments thereto shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and on conviction shall be fined not less than $250. Each day that violation of these regulations is in effect shall constitute a separate offense and be subject to additional fines of $250 per day. That's the, kind of the top tier of enforcement on that, right? What other options do you have, James? I mean,
This is it as far as the subdivision is concerned.
okay.
Did you say $250 a day or 25?
25 a day.
It's $250 a day on the new one.
Oh, okay.
This one here is 25.
The new one, yeah.
August 22nd, 2023.
Yeah.
That's when we updated it, or the city council approved it, I should say.
But that, so, and I'm not a big, what do you call it, ecology kind of guy and all that, but, so they would have to pay a fine, but they keep working, and,
What is the solution?
I'm not gonna interpret that any way that it says. Says they're in violation. I think the intent there is to get them to fix the violation.
A judge has to make that decision.
Right.
Yes.
But the intent is to get them to correct the violation before it goes further, right?
They would have to be found in violation by a judge.
Okay. So you would have to issue a citation. Would you issue any kind of a stop work order or anything with that violation, or would you just issue?
I was ordered to.
Okay.
so what are our options?
All we can do is instruct him and let the, with, you know, our recommended remedies, and then we turn it over to city council for final action.
Well, I mean, this, it sounds to me like Calfrac's kind of sitting on the losing end of this right now, but that, if they've got, if we've got this, this runoff and all that, that shouldn't be there, that's, I don't know, we need to, whatever we need to do, to give James authority, whatever, issue citation and get this in front of a judge, because, this, to me, this just, I mean, this doesn't seem right. Something needs to be, and I don't know the proper way to do it. Do we need to make a motion to give James the authority to do it, or?
We don't have to. Yeah, we don't have to give James authority. He has that.
We don't, yeah, we just make a recommendation that he enforce
Okay,
it.
I mean, is that in the form of a motion, or?
You can.
For this Bellingraph two drainage easement requirement, do we address this with
Yeah.
a motion, or?
We can do it in the form of motion, just instruct him to enforce it.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we recommend or direct, whichever we need to do, James to initiate the enforcement action as appropriate for this condition and situation.
You want to do that based on the conditions that were set on the preliminary plat?
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion to enforce it based on the conditions of the preliminary plat. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we got a second. Discussion.
We don't give them a chance to fix it first?
Of course, that's what the code enforcement does, is gives them a chance to
Yeah.
fix it.
That would fall under what I guess would be appropriate action.
This is just an
We're just making a
incentive.
motion on this item on the agenda, right?
What's that?
We're just addressing the item on the agenda.
Yeah, the drainage easement requirement that we placed as a condition of the preliminary plat. Okay,
The first thing we'd have to do is give the builder a notice of violation, a written notice of violation.
that's right.
And determine how much time you want to have this corrected.
But that's part of appropriate action for this
That's what would be
situation.
appropriate here.
Yes.
Okay,
So, I mean, and he knows as well as anybody what the appropriate action is, which is what the motion was, to take the appropriate action.
all right.
The only thing I would need from you is guidance on how long you're willing to give. gonna boil down to what Calfrac decides. Correct?
Or the city, I mean, they can, yeah.
Is there any prior instances where we could use, I mean, what was allowed before? James, can you think of any? Any instance like this where,
So what are you at, when you're asking a recommendation on time, are you meaning the project stops until it's fixed, or they continue to do the project for the amount of time? I guess I don't understand.
Well, you have one problem here. He has not secured the easement that you asked him to secure.
Correct.
That's what he needs to fix. Personally, I don't see where we need to stop the project on here. Because you, in your capacity, can keep him from having a final plat if he doesn't accomplish the things that you told him.
Correct, yeah. So at this point, he's just spending his own money. The developer is spending their own money and, yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Are we clear now?
so
Do we want to put a time on it? A number of days, weeks, months? All right.
well,
We can do that through a secondary motion.
How can you do that for Calfrac answer?
Until Calfrac makes their decision.
Yeah, until they answer, how can you put a time on it?
Well, I think it's gonna open up a dialogue between the developer and Calfrac to see what can be done.
but that Calfrac needs a certain amount of information before they can even enter into the dialogue, right?
What do you mean?
Though they just, they said there's
They gotta
6
have
conditions,
6
so before that dialogue can start,
Well,
those,
if you're saying conditions, they're not really conditions, it's more information,
right.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I'm not in the authority to say yea or nay as far as how Calfrac proceeds. But though, yeah, there are I call bullet items that our legal staff gave me to present tonight.
Well,
Tim, you feel you can get this taken care of?
I can get the information together, yes, in a relatively short period of time, get it to Calfrac, yes.
And then we'll have to allow Calfrac some time to be able to review it, assess it, and make their final decision on that.
Mr. Chairman, I think we'll know a lot more about this at the next planning commission meeting. So,
Okay.
Jamie, now that the silt fence is up, is there still a problem with the development? Are y'all still,
Absolutely.
okay,
We're still getting too much water flow on the east ditch, that it's washing the drive out.
Okay.
And, it is what it is. We just need to, figure out which way to go. Now, it's like I said at the beginning, that Calfrac wants to be a good neighbor and also a good steward to the community, which they have since they've been here 17 years ago. With all that being said, me personally, I don't want them getting taken advantage of either. That's why I'm here, okay, as an employee of the county.
so right now we've got, they need to continue progress, but at the same time, we've got an issue
Is resolved.
that needs to get resolved as quickly as possible because it's causing water runoff on.
Right.
So
So-
that is that's kind of a separate issue from what we originally, the enforcement part though, right? So, getting the information to Calfrac is one issue.
Well,
But-
I
but
think this
the,
is where you
Tim
might
said
want
he's
to
gonna
consider a
take care of that.
secondary motion to give a time frame for this event to occur.
Well, that's kind of where I was going. We can put a time frame on getting the information to Calfrac, but we can't put a time frame on Calfrac's legal department to get back with their answer.
Oh, you can put a reasonable amount of time on it.
I don't know that you can.
That's, I mean, they,
If you're talking about a foreign company, you can't
Would 90 days be adequate?
I would hope it would be, but I can't speak for them.
Okay.
I tried to call on Friday and didn't get an answer. I got it yesterday.
well,
Before I'm leaving, it's 90 days.
Okay.
well, at the end of
Why don't we
90
make
days,
that-
if they
Somebody make
don't,
that as a secondary motion that it'd be carried forward for 90 days.
And then at the end of that, if there's a good reason, then we can address it at the time.
Was that your motion there, Tommy?
Yes. that's my-
Secondary motion for 90 days, is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a secondary motion to carry this forward for 90 days, meaning the original motion was to enforce requirements for drainage easements, carry it forward for 90 days. All right, those in favor of the secondary motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the primary motion is to ask James to enforce the requirement for the drainage easement, 90 days. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. James, you've got your instructions on that one. All right, the next item on the agenda is the it's South Fork West. We have an updated plat on that one. I think, Tim, you have that one that you're carrying forward, or bringing to us?
Actually, some bigger copies.
Tim's prepared.
I think I got 11 to 17 copy machine, I'm going a little bit bigger. I'm gonna show you what we came up with first. We actually have something else we want to show you. At the last meeting, the lieutenant with the fire department told me that he thought the hammerhead layout would work. So we worked up a layout with hammerheads.
You got enough of those?
Thank you.
Sir. So, what you see before you is the hammerhead approach. And these hammerheads are sized as per ISO requirements with the radius and the width. And we would still leave a little grass strip or a gravel strip that would be between, down the middle of the hammerhead to accomplish the spirit of the city's code that you can't share driveways. So the only time that somebody would probably be using both of these would be if a fire truck was there and he would just straddle the concrete, or the little gravel strip that's in the middle, and he'd have ingress and egress back to the back. So this is what we came up with. Lot 9 would not be, that would be completely separate from the other lots as far as use of the hammerhead. But anyway, so this was what the lieutenant at the fire department wanted us to do, so we prepared this.
Okay, there was a motion during the February meeting to lay this on the table with the request that we bring it up at the March meeting. Is there a motion to raise it up off the table so we can discuss this?
So moved.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. It's yours to discuss, folks.
And I'd say before you pass judgment on this plan, I do have a second plan I'd like to show you, but I don't want to convolute this too much, so let's get all the questions, please, answered on this one first.
James, did the fire department get a chance to look at this one?
Yes, I did.
Thumbs up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there any other issue?
Do we see any problem with this? Just look,
The fire department said it would pass their muster on it, so.
They've got basically, probably 26 foot of driveway,
Yeah.
so there's plenty of room.
I make a motion, we approve this.
We have a motion to approve the preliminary plat. Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
We have a second on that. Those, discussion?
I wasn't at the February meeting. Was this the only issue on there?
Actually, there's 20.
Yeah, it was just, the issue on it was the distance for the back lots from the road, the back of the structure, without a fire access road to it.
And it was really 9, and now that's just one.
Yeah, lot 10 was taken off, and lot 9 and 10 are,
Yeah, it was 10
merged
that
together.
was really the problem, but, yeah, I think this is good.
okay, anything else?
Mr. Chair, before y'all pass judgment on that, I'd like to show you this one. So you have two to compare it to, if that's okay.
Okay. We got this one on the floor ready to
What's this one
Vote
you're
on
giving us?
This one's an even oversimplified version. Instead of having 9 lots, we go down to 8 lots and just have the driveways just like you would under a regular. There would be no hammerheads. This came up as an afterthought after the turn-in deadline. And so I don't hear see it tonight. We didn't want to
Cut 2
complicate
lots
the
out.
issue too much. In this situation, we would just split the property evenly into 8 lots. The lots would have an average width of 54.69 feet and a depth of 215 feet.
look at those lot widths, folks. They're not gonna meet our
Yeah,
requirement there.
they're not 50, yeah.
Less than 55 feet.
Yeah.
Seemed to me like they want this one, it's got 9 lots.
Additional expense though, the price rate would be about the same.
But we have a motion,
To accept this plat that's been presented to us with 9 lots on it.
so I'm not sure why this was put in after the fact.
Okay.
We can't accept this without doing a variance anyways on the lot.
We couldn't give a variance on it.
Right, so.
I mean, a variance basically is
Yeah.
something that we and/or the developer overlooked. All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor to accept this preliminary plat with the 9-lot design on it. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I don't hear any other discussion, so,
No discussion.
I'm gonna
Those in
call the
favor,
question.
say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. We'll accept this 9-lot.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. All right, we've got a pre-development conference for 1114 South First Street for a possible rezone and mini storage facility. State your name. I know I've met you before, but God bless me, I cannot remember.
Andy Nicholas.
Thank you.
I have one printout, much smaller than Tim's. The red outline is the property.
This is the one you got?
So, my family's got 9 acres on South Fir, and we are interested in putting mini storages on it. And I wanted to know, if that's doable. And if it is doable, I would have a couple of hurdles that I wanted to discuss.
Everybody's aware of the requirement for mini storage in a C2 zoning classification, which is classified as highway frontage.
I'm not.
Okay, well, if you turn into your commercial section there, mini storages are listed under C2. Right now, this land, R2?
Yes.
R3.
R3.
R3. Tommy, in there, there's a section called uses, and it'll enumerate all the uses and shows you where it can be placed, where it can't be placed.
It's page 40, if that helps.
This is for right here. Are you familiar with that area at all? It's next door to me.
Oh, it's inside this, you're talking,
This lot.
where you go? There you go. You're talking about this area inside the red here?
Yes.
Right here.
Can you see this, Mike?
And where it's at. I suspect the biggest issue you're gonna run into is the placement in a non-conforming zone.
Okay.
Is that,
Yeah, and so, I've seen here that it says, arterial streets, which it's not that either. So one of the things I was going to ask about was if there was a possibility to change the requirements that mini storages could be allowed in C3, which is quiet residential, quiet commercial.
Quite commercial.
Which that would kind of fix the street problem.
So where do you want to put these up toward the front, the
No,
side?
no,
Back behind
to-
your dad's?
behind, so the eventual plan would be to move the mobile homes out. That wouldn't be immediate. It would need to be able to sustain itself before getting the mobile homes out. But on that map, it's a rectangle near the front, and then it widens out. So where it widens out on the north side, that would be where we would start.
Okay.
And we would start working our way back, and then eventually cross over to the south side and work our way back forward, but never, never coming in front of the house, for sure.
He's got one here if you want to take that up there.
It's not, you said C3, it's not permitted.
Right, and I was asking if there was a way to have mini storages permitted, like to get that changed so that mini storages could be permitted in C3.
A short answer to your question is, we couldn't change it.
Okay,
They would take a city council action on that.
okay,
And I'm not gonna read their minds, but
Right.
I know where their intent is over
Okay.
the last couple of years, the last several years.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
really, they don't
I've thought
fudge
that
on
same
it.
thing. I've got that.
Behind
4
you?
acres, yeah. Is that subdivision coming in and
Yeah, I mean, because
everybody's
especially
always
up,
got more stuff, but
up there across from Bruce Oakley's, they'll be putting in all those houses back, across there. I think they were referred to as affordable housing or something like that.
Yeah. We couldn't change it.
Okay,
I mean, that's the bottom line.
I looked at that myself.
If the city council, I mean, you can petition the city council, but I'm not gonna give you high hopes on that.
okay,
So, but they just turn it back to us.
okay, yeah. All right, well, that was the first hurdle, so if we tripped over it, then that's pretty much it.
Well, we appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, doing these pre-development conferences will save you a lot of time,
Yeah.
anguish, and money if you start investing in something that we can't grant you.
Do you have any suggestion as to what could be done with that property to, eventually remove the mobile homes and do something else?
It's buildable land, right? You can build
Yeah,
residential on it.
other than the waste treatment ponds being back there, yes. They're directly to the west.
Yeah.
Like a lot of,
Yeah.
so you could build lakefront property.
Yeah,
I've heard that mentioned to be the Beebe Fishing Resort too.
right,
I don't, I mean,
okay,
Yeah, it's just land to be developed for building,
okay,
putting houses on.
all right. Well, thank
That's
you.
what mine is.
So
All
yours
right.
is?
best we can offer you, sorry. I mean, that's,
Okay.
like I said, you can petition the city council, but, I wouldn't hold your breath,
Okay,
okay?
all right, thank you.
All right, is there any other business to bring before this, body? Anything else that we need to take up? James, you got anything?
No, sir.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a proper motion, is there a second? Anybody in favor of that?
Aye.
All right, motion carries, thank you, gentlemen.